All right, 8. Again, we have a triangle problem, and we're asked to find sine of 2a, cosine of 2a, and tangent of 2a. So we have multiple things we're working with here. I'm going to go ahead and write out all of those equations so I know which pieces I need. So for sine of 2a is 2 times sine times cosine. So I know I need to find sine and cosine. Cosine of 2a is cosine squared minus sine squared. And tangent of 2a, once you find sine and cosine, you really could just divide them. But we'll do the whole equation. 2 tan of a over 1 minus tan squared of a. You're going to be able to do quite a bit of this on your calculator since we don't have any radicals with this problem. I guess we haven't found our triangle yet, but so 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So our angle A is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So that means quadrant 4. Sine gives us opposite over hypotenuse. Our hypotenuse is 13. Our opposite here is going to be negative 5. If you need to pause and do the Pythagorean theorem, you're more than welcome. This is a special right triangle. It's a 5, 12, 13. You do want to be careful about your negatives here. Your 5 is negative. Your 12 is positive because we're going to the right of the origin. So I'm going to write all my ratios off to the side here. Sine is negative 5 over 13. Cosine is 12 over 13. Tangent is negative 5 over 12. Now you're ready to roll. If you were stuck on how to start, go ahead and pause and see if you can plug into those equations now. All right, hopefully you gave those a try. When I'm working fractions, I like to turn everything in my problem into a fraction. So I'm going to change that 2 into a 2 over 1. Negative 5 over 13 is sine. Cosine is 12 over 13. You can absolutely use your calculator or just multiply across. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, times 12 is negative 120. 1 times 13 is 169. Beautiful. Sine of 2a. Cosine of 2a. So we need to put in our cosine value and square it. Subtract our sine value. Squared. Now a common denominator is built in here. You need to be careful. If you're going to put this in your calculator, put it in exactly as it looks right now, with the negatives and especially with those parentheses. If you're going to do this by hand, don't do negative times a negative as positive here, because when we square negative 5, the negative gets squared as well. So this is 144 over 169 minus positive 25 over 169. And that gives you 119 over 169. Now, if you are doing these 3 in a group, if you were asked for these one after another, you could just divide sine of 2a by cosine of 2a and get tangent of 2a as well. That is definitely another way that these equations work, since tangent is sine over cosine and those angles are the same. It's really important that those angles are the same. That's why you could do that here. I'm going to go ahead and work the equation because on the test I might not ask you for all of them kind of in succession like this. So tangent is negative 5/12. And there's no reason not to put that all in your calculator. You could absolutely do the steps on paper if you would like. Go ahead and pause and put that into your calculator. And make sure you get negative 120 over 119. Be really careful with your setup. Double check your triangles. Make sure that, because if you have a leg wrong, it's going to affect your whole problem.